I hunted this place one time during gun season, and this was all in standing corn. It has since then been cut.
This week on Kentucky Afield. Deer season just came to a close here in Kentucky, and we're already looking forward to the next one.
Perfect wind for tonight.
It's our last hunt of the season that was. Next.
Here's my lure. There's the fish.
We're on Taylorsville Lake with Chris Mann, catching crappie after crappie.
There you go.
Then, it's time to start daydreaming about and putting in for a 2021 elk hunt. So we're headed to the hills of eastern Kentucky. It's all next on Kentucky Afield.
Such a pretty fish.
Beautiful.
This pond is plumb loaded with frogs.
They're everywhere in here. Yeah, this is a good fish right here. Really good fish.
Come here, girl.
Yeah, boy. That's a big rabbit.
Nice job.
Yes! Yes! My first musket. Mercy Leo!
Yeah, look at here, it's a keeper.
Here it goes. Boom. Wow, that happened fast. Hello, and welcome to Kentucky Afield. I'm your host, Chad Miles. Join us as we journey the Commonwealth in search of outdoor adventure. And our first outdoor adventure is a late season archery hunt, which is a perfect way to top off the freezer. The modern firearm season here in the state of Kentucky has come and passed. And wouldn't you know it, the weather turns really cold. We even got a little bit of snow. Got me thinking, I've got to get in the deer stand. So I grabbed the bow and I'm out here to hunt a farm in Shelby County that I've hunted quite a bit and it's full of deer. I hunted this place one time during gun season and this was all in standing corn. It has since then been cut and they were actually combining this corn. It was really late this year and they cut that corn and got it all out. We're gonna get in the stand and hopefully these deer will come out across the field as where they normally come out and make their way right to us for a nice 20-yard shot. So fingers crossed, super excited to not be wearing hunter's orange and getting in a deer stand with a bow and arrow. We're up here in our stand. This location I've hunted before. 90% of the time the deer come right out here and work way out here in this field. One of the questions I get quite often is, hey, what if you're on a piece of property and the deer come from all directions? How do you know what a good wind is? I want the wind to blow right where I walked from. Chances are you didn't walk right by a feeding or a bedded deer. It just wouldn't let you get that close. So in this situation, I want the wind blowing from this field back toward where my truck is parked. If you can kind of see what we've got. This wind is blowing right back, and if you look, you can actually see where my truck is parked. I walked in right on this edge. Perfect wind for tonight. Anything in this field, my wind's blowing this way. I should be set up perfect. Deer, straight across the field. It's walking right to us. Get ready, here we go. Well, there'll be no blood tracking this one. It went down right exactly where it was hit. But I'm gonna get this deer wrapped up in the truck, get it home, get it processed, and hopefully This is gonna make some perfect corn-fed Shelby County venison for my family, maybe someone else. Here today with tournament kayak angler Christine Fisher. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Chad.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I am most interested in is how people can organize all their gear into a kayak and be out there pretty much self-sufficient for the day.
Let's start with the most important tool for an angler, your rod.
Yeah.
So my boat, the Hobie Pro Angler 14, has horizontal rod storage, and that keeps the rods out of the way. You don't get them caught in anything.
Is this pretty common that most of them have rod storage on the sides?
It's not. There are only a few fishing models out there that have that horizontal rod storage.
What would you do if you didn't have those particular compartments? How would you store your rods?
A lot of kayakers, we need a way to transport our gear, and we'll have some sort of this is essentially a glorified milk crate.
Yeah.
As you can see. A lot of kayakers will mount rod holders on the back of them.
Okay.
With zip ties. Mine comes built in with a couple of rod storage here, so I like having them behind me. So any boat that you have, you can find something that works for you.
Okay. Where do you keep your tackle in here?
Couple different places. So as you can see, this is my terminal tackle go-to back here. So all my hard baits, topwaters, crankbaits, all terminal stuff goes here. My plastic situation, like I said, right now I'm pretty light, but under the seat, you see there's a lot of clearance there.
Yeah.
All of my soft plastics, like tubes, Senkos, stick baits, big worms, finesse baits, I have a designated plastic tub for that. And I can fit 2 of those, one here and one here under my seat. Usually when I'm fishing, I have a good idea of what plastics I'm gonna be using the most of. And most kayaks on the market have some sort of a...
That's your day box.
Yeah, like a square hatch there.
Yeah.
And so baits that I'm using the most of, I'm putting right there, so it's right in front of me. I'm not digging for them, and they're easily accessible.
Where do you keep your net, and do you net it left-handed? How do you go about doing that?
Well, I reel left-handed.
Okay.
So if you think about that, my net always sits right here on my front hatch. And I kind of almost set it underneath my A-trail here.
Okay.
That way when I'm fishing, my rod's always in my right hand because I reel with my left on everything.
Okay.
I'm able to, once I get the fish to the boat, I'm able to just very quickly reach right here. And most of my fish are landing on this side of my kayak.
This is just growing like crazy, and it's going to keep growing. Because one, it's so much fun, it's easy to get into, and it don't matter where you live in the state of Kentucky, you can find a place to be on the water fishing in a kayak, probably within 3-4 miles of your house.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some really good crappie reports are already starting to come in. Let's go check out some new technology that can be super exciting. I tell you what, die-hard crappie fishermen, 20-degree weather don't scare us, does it?
No, sir.
Today we're out here at Taylorsville Lake with Chris Mann looking for crappie. And Chris has got a unique way of catching these fish using some new technology called the Livescope.
You'll get addicted to watching this thing. It's literally like watching yourself on a video game catch fish. I mean, it's crazy. So you'll see with that 1/4 ounce head, the heavier weight will get us down there quicker, and that'll be super important when we're doing this. So today we'll be using crappie magnet slab bites. We've got them loaded in our little pins, and hopefully be ready to go. It's going to change the face of fishing as we know it. This thing's got a very narrow cone. It shoots straight out the front, and this game is all about boat control. Here's my lure. There's the fish. Good fish too, Chad.
There you go. You got you a 10-incher there.
Good.
What do you think that is? 9 3/4, 10 inches?
We may get 10 out of him. I don't know. Yeah, 9 3/4 probably.
Pretty good fish.
Pretty fish.
But the crazy thing is that you literally found some structure that we couldn't see from the surface, and then targeted that particular fish by watching your bait go right down to it. Targeted that fish and caught that fish.
That
was
job.
really cool.
That was cool, man.
Look at that. Set right there and cast it out and moved that bait from about 4 or 5 feet away and caught the one fish that we were sitting there watching on the grass. 10 and a half, 10 and 3/4. This is a keeper crappie, pretty crappie. You can tell this one maybe hauling eggs. It's right about that time of year that they start producing some eggs. We're gonna turn it loose. The tournament trail you're fishing right now, what is it called again?
We fished the Crappie USA tournament trail.
Okay.
And I started out watching Kentucky Afield when I was a child, and I know the majority of fishermen that are watching Kentucky Afield will never fish a tournament. The thing that I feel like has helped me the most over the years to become a better fisherman has been tournament fishing. I found that every time I had that feeling in a tournament that, hey, the fish just aren't biting, I would go to the weigh-in and someone would always come in with a big monster bag of fish. There are fish to be caught just about on any body of water on any given day. You just have to learn what makes them bite.
You got your good one?
Sorry. I believe I stole your fish, Chad.
That's a good one. That's the best fish we've had today. Chris, that's a really nice fish right there. What do you think that one there is?
I'd say that fish right there will go about 12 and a quarter.
I was gonna say, it's over 12 inches a bit, yeah. That's a good one. I tell you what, this one of those systems, if I tell my wife I'll be home at 5 o'clock, this thing can get me in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be home at 5 means you need to be putting the boat on the trailer maybe at 4. And at about 4 o'clock, you see this big, massive fish down there and you start fishing for it. And then right about the time you give up on him or catch that fish, you look over and you see another big fish. You're like, well, I got to go after that. And then you know it's dark and you're like, huh.
Look at that big one. He's coming up after it, that big. That's a good fish right there, Chad. That's a dandy.
Broke my line.
Break.
Oh, it might still be on there. There's my line right there.
Get it?
Check this out.
Too cool for school.
I'm throwing like 2 or 3 pound ice line and it stretches a little bit. And so I kept tightening my drag down a little bit, Well, I finally tightened it down too much. Eat it. He did too. That's what makes this really exciting. You sit right there and watch that bait move in there close to that fish. It's like, okay, I'm on it. It's ready. And I saw the fish turn and bam, sure enough it did. And with that, it's a 10-inch crappie. Like I say, we've caught enough of these today that we know we could fill our limit up. And using this technology, we've been able to stay on bites all day. So Chris, the last time you and I were out, it was a couple years ago. We were fishing on Green River and we were just vertically jigging. I think it was the same lure.
Yep, same lure.
And we caught tons and tons of crappie. There's a whole lot of new techniques in fishing. Of course, this is only about a year old. Tell me about some of the other techniques that people on the American Crappie Tour are utilizing to catch crappie.
Yeah, I know an extremely popular technique is the spider rigging or slow vertical trolling, where folks are pushing baits out the front of the boat. And then a very underlooked technique has become long line trolling. So it's where you're dragging baits through the water column behind you, so you're actually pulling baits.
What other techniques do you see people using?
You know, that docked shooting is another one that's out there. With this technique, Chad, you grab the lure by the head of the lure, you load the rod back like this, and of course I've got the line under my finger, and then I'll shoot that lure.
You've taught me a lot today about this particular technique, and this is a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Watching fish literally come on the screen and targeting individual fish and watching them come up and hit your lure is a really unique approach. And you know what? You're always fishing for potential keepers. Yeah. You're very seldom ever fishing for fish that if you catch it, it won't be a keeper. People that are avid and diehard are kind of setting the trends of what we're going to have in the future. And the future is here when it comes to this type of technology.
It certainly is.
Do Do you have your sights set on an elk hunt? Well, now is the time to start putting in. We heard a bugle here on the way in, but I'm not seeing as much sign as I'd like to see to spend a lot of time here scouting. Let's go back to the truck, drive to another bowl, and get out and kind of do the same thing. Okay. We'll check about 5 or 6 of these bowls this morning. Well, after glassing several more valleys, we saw more and more sign of elk, but no actual elk. Then on our way off the property, we get to the gate and look back, and there stands 2 bulls. Unfortunately, the biggest bull slipped out before we could get him on video. Well, Brad, all the fun starts tomorrow.
We're excited and we're ready.
You know, we're looking for a place. We know that these elk are using these areas and grazing in these bows, but they're trying to find a place to quickly get into some timber. There they've got shade, cool, and there's acorns falling this time of year too. And this is kind of the area that we're looking for crossing. This is a pinch point. You know, it's really cool. You're getting to do this hunt and you brought your son along. You know, getting to experience something like this. Until we came down here, you'd never seen an elk in the wild, right?
I'd never seen one. So.
Ever heard one bugle?
Nope.
It's all going to be brand new. And that's the cool thing about having elk in the state of Kentucky is that you don't have to go to Colorado. You know, we have an opportunity to come here, and you're lucky enough to get to hunt them, but a lot of people come here just for elk tours too. 20 years we've had elk in the state of Kentucky. It's hard to believe.
And look at the success we've had with the herd.
And think about it, we went 100 and something years without elk in the state of Kentucky, and they're native, and be able to come out here and scout for them, in your case, hunt for them. It really is just a true success story. Let's go find us another spot or two like this, and we'll put this on the hit list.
Sounds good.
Just a few hours before the season opener, we decided to go out and glass a few more valleys. And Zane spots a couple of elk across the valley, about 1,500 yards away. That's a nice spot. That's definitely 2 elk. I mean, it won't even give me a reading. They're so far. Oh yeah, definitely 2 elk. I just love that we got our wind in our favor and we're not messing anything up. But those elk just popped out like literally 20 or 30 seconds before you saw them. So they didn't move until probably 7 o'clock. So you could have sat here all day. And you could have got lucky and had one walk up. But most of those elk are doing exactly what those elk are doing. Now let's ease out of here and get ready for our big day tomorrow. Well, it's here.
I'm excited.
You know what? 30 minutes, 20 minutes, we'll have good shooting light. It can happen real fast. This may be a 3 or 4 day hunt. However, it doesn't make any difference. We're here for the long haul. We're gonna make it work. I'm fired up. This is probably, out of every hunt I've ever had in Kentucky, one of the best as far as weather conditions go. I mean, it's you can move around without being real loud, and yet it's fairly cool. This is elk hunting weather for Kentucky. We're very lucky to have it. Let's make a move.
All right, let's roll.
So on opening morning, we decided to climb to the top of the hill and get a vantage point where we could split up and see 2 different valleys. It was really foggy, and fog was rolling in and out, making it possible for a bull to slip by. By 9:30, the fog had started to burn off. From our morning vantage point, we were seeing tons of sign, but no bulls. But it was enough to keep us excited for this afternoon's hunt. That afternoon, we decided to take a different approach, and we dropped Zane off on a hillside and found ourselves a separate location where bulls had been spotted in the previous week, and we sat and waited. And when these elk don't want to move, they just hide in those areas and those big bulls like this, and they don't come out. But you know what? We just need one to slip up, and it'll happen. Only takes one. We've got the information we had. They're here. No, they're here. We're seeing sign. We've had sightings of four bulls on this piece of property, just not with a rifle in our hand. They're still here. On the second morning, we decided to go right back where we had hunted the previous morning. But we positioned ourselves where we could see more property. We heard something big moving below us and even heard a bugle. The fog was too thick for us to make a move. As the fog burned off, we noticed that we had company. A few other hunters had also found our honey hole. And by late morning, it had heated up and we decided to call it quits. On the evening of the second day of our hunt, Zane unfortunately had to leave us due to school responsibilities. We decided that we would make a move back to the location that we'd seen the two bulls while scouting. We positioned ourselves about 700 yards from where those bulls were at, so we had a vantage point on 2 or 3 other ridges. This plan really paid off. We got set up, and about an hour and a half before dark, a bull shows up right to our left. Hey, Brian, there's a bull. He's gonna come out in this opening past this tree. Get ready. Reload. Get back on it. Get back on it. Hey, he's hurt. Get ready. He's gonna give you. Uh-oh, get ready. Oh, he's hit good. Get ready. He's not moving. He's not going up though. If he goes up, we can see him. He's obviously hit very hard, but keep your gun up and ready. I'm pretty sure that you just scored your first Kentucky elk. Right there it is. It looks down. You got it. Congratulations, man. Awesome, you got an elk and a Kentucky elk at that.
Thank you very much.
Man, that's awesome. I'll tell you what, when you get up on them, with whitetail sometimes you get ground shrinkage. Elk always look bigger when you get up on them. I mean, look at the size of that animal. I know you.
They are large animals.
They are very large animals. Wait till we start dragging it, they get bigger.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
You know, and it's a 5x5. They say never pass up an animal that you take on the last day on the first if you've never elk hunted before. Congratulations. I could not be more excited for you, man.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much. But
you really got yourself a nice animal. And hey, that's going to be good on the table too.
absolutely.
Now let's check in and see who else has been out having fun in this week's Ones That Didn't Get Away. Here we have a nice buck taken by Cade McCauley from Breckenridge County. This was taken during the 2020 gun season. Nice job. Here we have 6-year-old John Dodd with his Beagle Rooster on a rabbit hunt in Wayne County. Nice job. Check out this impressive buck from Breckenridge County that was taken by Dennis Johnson. This buck had 19 scoreable points. Here we have 8-year-old Vince Barth with his first squirrel, taken with a single shot 22. 5-year-old Brandon Freeman from Irving, Kentucky got his very first rabbit. Nice job. Do you have fond memories of pursuing small game as a child? Well, you still have a few weeks to take a child and experience rabbit or squirrel hunting. And remember, hunting and fishing on private property is a privilege. Always ask permission and thank the landowner. Until next week, I'm your host, Chad Miles, and I hope to see you in the woods or on the water.